All right, in this video I want to build these expandable lists over here on the right. They're just your basic HTML unordered lists with list items inside. So ULs and LIs, but they're nested too deep on the items that are expandable here. So like if you have more content, like if you have a sub list that you want to include with certain list items, you can add the button and you can add the nested list inside of that list item. And as you can see, it cues you for more or less when you can contract it. So yeah, that's it. It's just your basic thing. This kind of thing has really existed forever, but it's one of those things for layout purposes and for just organizational purposes. It's just one of those things that's always comes back, and you always need something like this to manage content. And you know, I just thought this one came out pretty nice with the way it was styled, the typography, just the subtle lines that separate list items, and the buttons with the hover effect. And the bullet points on the sub list items. Everything's in a nice line here, and just the spacing between them. I thought it was very readable, and I thought this would be a good thing to cover. I figured this might be usable for other people. So I'm going to build this from scratch over here in VS Code. I'm just going to start making some files here, and we're just going to do an index.html, a main.js to handle the click event to hide and show the sublist, and we're going to style it with SASS. So I'm going to do a styles.scss, and you can see those populate over here. The one other thing I am going to copy over now is an image that I'm going to use as a background image. As you can see, this is like kind of an eggshell kind of gray. So it's just instead of using a basic flat background color, I have this eggshell kind of background. So that's pretty much the setup. The one other thing we'll have to do is compile the SASS down. So if I open the SASS file, we can just do like a body property here to get this working. If we say background color coral and save that, obviously it's not compiling yet, but I have an extension here called live SASS compiler right here, and it works with live server. So if you don't have like a SASS compiler in your build stream, you can just use that one. It's, you know, pretty quick and easy to set up. There is a settings file where you can designate the inputs and outputs for that plugin. But mine's set up. When you activate the plugin, you'll get this watch SASS icon down here, and when you click on that, it'll compile it down. And for me, I have it set to go into a dist folder and have it named styles.min.css, and it's set to minify it as well. That's why it's all in one line. So there you go. So now we can start with our HTML, and we can start linking up the CSS and the JavaScript. So I'm here in my index.html file here now, and I'm going to start out just by doing an exclamation point and tab with Emmet. It creates the boilerplate starter for an HTML document, and we'll rename this to expandable lists. And let's see, I guess the first thing we'll do is pull in our styling. So we're going to link to that style sheet, and we're going to do a link with an href. That should link to it. And the other thing I'm going to pull in is a Google font. It's not necessary for this, but I just liked the look of it. So there it is. This one is PT Sans, and I think I just used the 400 weight. So there you go. That's the majority of our styling right there. The other thing, right before the closing body tag, we want to do a script tag, and we can link up our main.js with the source attribute. So there you go. We should be set, and I'm going to right click on index and open that with live server. And as you can see, it's showing that color, that coral color that we set in the body. And we'll just delete that out for now. And if we resave, you can see on save it updates. All right, so now we can get into the HTML. So inside of our body tag here, I'm going to do a div with a class of wrapper, and we can just do div.wrapper tab, and that's going to center things for us. We'll just put a little header in here with expandable lists, and then we'll start in with the lists themselves. This is basically just like a component build. We're not building a whole website here, but we'll just build this one little component out. We'll do a UL, and we can do an let's see, how many do we want to do? We'll do li star 5 tab, and that'll generate 5 of them for us. And we'll just do list item 1, and then let me copy this real quick. Control V, and that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. So there's our first list. If we save that, we can see it update over here on the right. So that's the structure of the outer lists. Then we have inner lists. So on the second list item, we want to put a sub list in here. So we're going to expand this open, and we're going to first of all do a toggle button. So we're going to do a toggle with a it's just going to be a div, and it's going to have a class of li-toggle, and it's going to have an ID of li-toggle-1. So we'll tab that. It's also going to have a data ID attribute to reference the class name on the sublist. I'll show you that more as we get into the JavaScript. But we're just going to call that toggle-1, and we'll save that. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to write in here, it's just going to say more, and this will be our toggle button that is queuing us for more content to be shown. I'm just going to close this up for now. Alright, so that's our toggle button, and then we're going to have a nested UL inside of this list item. So we're going to do another UL, and then we're going to do an LI with a class of toggle1. Again, that references, that correlates to the data ID of this toggle button. So in other words, as we have multiple toggle buttons in multiple content sections to toggle based on the click event on these toggle buttons, we want it to reference the correct content area. So the data ID will reference the class name of the content that we want to hide and show with these toggle buttons. So we'll do li.toggle-1 as the class name, and we'll just tab that, and we'll just say nested item 1, and that'll be our first one. And we'll copy that a couple times here, Control V, and we'll just do toggle 2 and toggle 3. Okay, so there's our nested list. Perfect. Let's do another one. It's going to be basically the same exact thing as this. So I'm just going to copy this. We're just going to change some of the naming conventions. So let's do one on the 5th item as well. And so we'll expand the 5th list item open, and we'll enter in the toggle button and the sub list. But we need to change the naming conventions here. So we're going to call that toggle2. We're going to have an ID of li-toggle2, and these will also be updated so that this is specific to this toggle button and this toggle content area. So okay, you can see there you go. We have our bare bones HTML showing here on the in the browser, and I think that's it for the markup. Let me just check how we are on time here. And okay, you know what? I'm just gonna probably leave it at that on the markup, and we'll come back and we'll do the styling, and then we'll do the JavaScript, and that'll be it for this one. So we'll see you in the next video where we get up and running with SASS and get this styled and looking good. So we'll see you in the next one.